Which Star Wars character is surprisingly good at golf? Jabba the Hutt. What did the golfer call his girlfriend? His sweet tea. What has 4 wheels and flies? A garbage truck.
You're listening to Weird Medicine with Dr. Steve on the Riotcast Network, riotcast.com.
I need some suction in the carotid.
It's Weird Medicine, the first and still only uncensored medical show in the history of broadcast radio, now a podcast. I'm Dr. Steve with my little pal, Cliff Andrews, a.k.a. 49 Cent. Hello, Cliff.
Hello, Dr. Steve.
And she who would do most anything for a glass of expensive wine. You hear that, Daniel and John? It's Lady Diagnosis.
Hello, Dr. Steve.
And Super Android 23, a.k.a. the Mogfest Posse. We've got John on the iPad. Hello, John.
Hello, Dr. Steve.
And we've got Daniel Renteria on the Chaosilator. Hello, Daniel.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. So I got to tell the story about how we met Daniel. It's the goofiest, most random thing in the world. This is a show for people who had never listened to a medical show on the radio or the internet. If you've got a question you're embarrassed to take to a regular medical provider, or if you can't find an answer anywhere else, give us a call at 347-766-4323. That's 347. If you're listening to us live, the number is 754-227-3647. That's 754.
Bare Nip.
Very good, Cliff. Or my favorite, 754-22 penis. Follow us on Twitter at Weird Medicine, at Lady Diagnosis, and at Dr. Scott WM, and also at WM the Intern. That's Cliff's Twitter. Visit our website at weirdmedicine.com for podcast, medical news, and stuff you can buy, or go to our merchandise store at cafepress.com/weirdmedicine. Most importantly, we are not your medical providers. Take everything you hear with a grain of salt. Don't act on anything you hear on this show without talking over with your doctor, nurse practitioner, physician assistant, pharmacist, chiropractor, acupuncturist, yoga master, physical therapist, or whatever. I hate to pot you guys down. I'm gonna let you go for a little bit. You guys have got to teach me how to do that.
This is pretty awesome.
That's very
I feel like I should be jumping up and down.
It's so much fun to do this stuff.
It looks like a lot of fun.
I can't even explain how much joy I get out of this.
Yeah. No, it's awesome.
The cool thing about the thing that I'm using is you don't need to really know anything about
anything.
Pretty much. You just
how
get
to
in
press
start,
buttons.
I'm impressed.
Buttons and just have a blast at it.
You certainly don't have to have any mic technique.
Oh, yeah. No, you can just, like, wherever you want.
You can talk anywhere.
No, right.
No one can hear you.
You would never know I was a broadcast manager.
That thing. Talk into it.
I paid a lot for that degree, and apparently...
Hey, don't forget to check out stuff.drsteve.com for all your Amazon needs. It really does make a difference. Thank you for using it. Go to stuff.drsteve now. Just click through, or you can scroll down and see all the different products we've talked about on this show, and look at them, see our mini reviews, and then you can click on them and buy them if you want to. Check out tweakedaudio.com. Offer code FLUID, FLUID, for 33% off the best earbuds for the money anywhere, and the best customer service anywhere. And the cool thing is, it's not some 5% discount. I mean, it's 33% off. So if you buy 3 things, you get one of them free.
Yep.
And it's really cool to see that number come down. Like I've got $60 in my in my basket, and then I put in fluid, and it's down to 40. Yeah, it's amazing. So it's really cool.
Makes that sound
so
too.
tweakedaudio.com. Simply, yeah, it makes exactly that sound. Check out simplyherbals.net. That's Dr. Scott's website. He's on vacation this week and on sabbatical. Right. Oh, perfect timing, by the way. We're moving our beer store from one location to another, and he picks this week to fucking go on vacation.
Of course. Well, he's smart.
He was smart.
I had no idea.
So yeah, just a coincidence.
You got this, right?
So tomorrow, I'm going. Anybody wants to help me? These two guys will be gone already. I've got to go to the garden store and buy a bunch of planters and say he has. Okay, so we have a parking lot, but we want to use part of it as a place for people to hang out and drink beer and stuff, right? So we don't want people driving into it. So Scott's idea was to take a bunch of pallets, those wooden pallets, and just throw them out there. And it looks
That's not a fire hazard at all.
Right, it just looks like somebody threw a bunch of pallets out there. So I'm going to go buy, while he's gone, I'm going to go buy a bunch of planters and just fill them up with stuff and put some flowers in them.
There you go.
To demarcate that area.
Mm-hmm.
So it just looks like somebody just threw. Who threw these pallets out here? Can we have
Are
them?
these to take? Yeah. I'm gonna take them.
Maybe paint. Don't take these on them.
Don't forget.
Don't park here and don't take these.
Don't forget etncomedy.com. We have an event coming up August 2nd. And Cliff will be performing. We've got one of the other finalists from The Funniest Person in the Tri-Cities performing, and also Vic Henley, blue-collar comedian. And it's going to be a lot of fun. The amphitheater holds 1,200 people. We need a shitload of people to show up for this. I was saying last show when Tim Dillon did it, we had 250 people, and I said it didn't look like anybody was there. That's not a slam on Tim. That was double the number that they're used to getting there. They usually get about 50 to 100 people there. So Tim brought in, 2 to 4 times their normal number. But it's just a huge, huge place. And I really would like to see at least 600 people show up for this.
I wonder if you could do like a raffle or announce a giveaway or
a raffle
something.
for free tickets? For something else, yeah.
For say like, hey, if you show up, you enter for a chance to win whatever the thing is.
You know what?
Dr. Steve's already buying him a beer.
That is not a bad damn idea.
Yes.
Okay, let me think about that. If we can come up with something.
A trip to Barbados.
Okay.
No?
On a rowboat.
Yes.
And we'd give him the rowboat. Yeah, we could do that.
Or an oar. We'll give him an oar.
The oar.
Just one.
Just one. You got to earn the other one.
Just go around in circles. etncomedy.com. And if you're interested in getting archives of the show, of course, why would you?
Who wouldn't want to?
But it's interesting how we went at that at completely opposite angles. Because I'm
Isn't
saying,
that
who
funny?
wouldn't want that? And Lady Agnes like, who wouldn't want that?
I know.
Premium.drsteve.com. For $1.99 a month, you get full access to all of our archives, plus some premium material that includes The Funniest Person in the Tri-Cities. You can hear Cliff's 3-minute set. And everybody did a 3-minute set, except for this one guy who was just telling some damn joke, and he went on for like 10 minutes. But we didn't have the heart to drag him off, because I wanted to hear what the end of the joke was.
You were locked in at that point.
You were totally locked in.
You were committed. Like it was, it was a commitment at that point. It had been too long.
And how bad was the end?
It wasn't good. It wasn't good. So
We were duped.
it was pretty funny. He did not come in dead last, though. So, but anyway, hey, one thing I wanted to talk about. We've got one guy that's been on hold for 55 minutes, and we're getting to you. And I think we lost a call or two in the break. I wanted to. Dr. Scott isn't here, but and I wish he were here. But I wanted to. We get iTunes reviews. We've got a bunch of reviews. I don't know, it's 500 to 1,000 reviews. And thank you all for those that give us review on iTunes.
Yes, thank you.
And we usually get good reviews. We got a 1-star review the other day, and this person said, and this is Daniel Booth 05. And he said, had potential but lost me when the doctor let Mr. Pseudoscience make claims about acupuncture. Now, he said, acupuncture is not a legitimate treatment for anything, period. Shame on you for allowing this repeatedly debunked practice to have any place in what you're calling a medical show. Now, so most people know me as an empiricist. I do have Dr. Scott on the show to ward off the alternative medicine assholes who would, I can say, hey, I got an acupuncturist on the show. What do you want? But, Dr. Scott is also an empiricist. You would think that he wouldn't be. But I wouldn't have him on the show if there wasn't a meeting of the minds. And we used to work in the same practice, and I would send him the people that I could not make a diagnosis on. They felt bad. I could show that they weren't dying, but they still felt bad. So I'd send them to him. They would 100% come back to me feeling better. Now you can say, well, that's the placebo effect, or what I like to call it, the cryptogenic therapeutic effect. But this is what I want to talk to you about. There are, I went on PubMed, and PubMed.com is where you can find access to every article in the medical literature that's been peer-reviewed and something that haven't been peer-reviewed. And I just picked 4 random articles on acupuncture. I just put our acupuncture in and then picked some. So here's one it's a 2015 article from the journal Headache. And it's called Acupuncture for Migraine Prevention. Now, headache is not some bullshit complementary. And look, there's some good complementary medicine journals too. But what I'm saying is there should not be bias in an article that's in a journal that is primarily geared toward neurologists who treat headache. Headache is the journal of record for headache, research. So it says acupuncture originates from ancient China, encompasses procedures that basically involve stimulation of anatomical points of the body. So they said they reviewed large and well-designed trials of acupuncture for migraine prevention, and also the effectiveness of acupuncture when tried against proven migraine preventative medications. Their conclusion: acupuncture seems to be at least as effective as conventional drug preventative therapy for migraine and is safe, long-lasting, and cost-effective. It is a complex intervention that may prompt lifestyle changes that could be valuable in the patient's recovery. So, shame on me for talking about this on my show. You fucking asshole.
He was really salty.
Asshole.
Like, how salty you have to be to take your time to you got to sign in. You got to find a particular episode.
Well, here's another one. Okay, this is from Biomedica. This is a 2017, also not a BS journal. And it's called The Effectiveness of Low Back Pain Treatment with Acupuncture. And I'm only going to just read the conclusion. It says, as acupuncture was effective among these patients and adherence proved to be a fundamental part of the process, it would be important to include this type of therapy in the mandatory health plan in Colombia. So this is, it's South America. They have great medicine there as well. And these guys are arguing that acupuncture should be part of the health plan in Colombia for people with low back pain because, they're trying to avoid opioid addiction and toxicity like anybody else is. So, okay, you could say, well, it's not peer-reviewed, double-blind, placebo-controlled study or anything, but this is not malarkey. Right. So let me do another one. I did 4 of them. I'll just run through them real quick. Battlefield acupuncture to treat low back pain in the emergency department. This is from the American Journal of Emergency Medicine. Again, not some biased journal. If you see one that's the Journal of Acupuncture, something, of course their studies are going to be positive, Right. and that's just their natural bias. But as long as bias is okay, as long as you're aware of it, and that you can control for it.
Right.
This says this pilot study demonstrates that battlefield acupuncture, and I wish Dr. Scott was here to explain what that is feasible as therapy for low back pain in the emergency department. Furthermore, our data suggest that battlefield acupuncture may be efficacious to improve low back symptoms, and thus further efficacy studies are warranted. So this is a preliminary study, but they looked at a group of patients that presented to the emergency room that were randomized to standard care plus battlefield acupuncture or standard care alone. And they found that it was statistically significant improvement in the people. But I'm the asshole. I'm the asshole for having this quack on the show.
How dare you?
I know.
Acupuncture's been around for what, a couple?
Well, it's 4,000 years now. That doesn't.
Those guys aren't. Those guys don't know.
Next thing you're going to be telling me seatbelts are safe, you quack.
Right. Yeah, just because it's been around 4,000 years does not by itself mean it's effective. But you would think that if it, this is just common sense. If it weren't effective at all, it would have died out 4,001 years ago.
Right.
But then again, I mean, the same person who wrote that is the same person who could have used the internet to find those things out on his,
That's right. No,
but they weren't interested. They weren't interested in finding those things.
Give yourself a bill.
That's a damn good point, Daniel. I hadn't even thought of that. He could have just Googled, is acupuncture effective, and found out for himself. But so the thing I want to say about what he said is that's a faith-based statement. When you say it's not worth anything, he doesn't have the evidence to back him up to say that. He's speaking out of emotion, and that's his belief. But that's a faith-based statement, just like any other faith-based statement. You have to take it for what it is.
Is the guy in pain himself?
Well, I don't know. Hell, I don't know.
I don't know. Like if he tried it and it didn't work, and that's why he's
That's a good point. Actually,
crapping on it. I don't know.
I hadn't thought about that either.
Yep. Okay, let me do one more. Effectiveness of acupuncture, so that we're not just looking at pain. To treat irritable bowel syndrome, a meta-analysis. So a meta-analysis, if you don't know, is where you take a bunch of studies and you mush them together to get a bigger population so that you can make more conclusive. If you take a bunch of small studies and if they're compatible, you can mush the data together and get a bigger study out of it. And bigger studies mean better data, better sensitivity to small effects, stuff like that. So it says 6 randomized placebo-controlled clinical trials met the criteria and were included in the meta-analysis, and blah, blah, blah. They were looking at studies that looked at acupuncture to ameliorate symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome, which would be abdominal pain, cramping, constipation, diarrhea. It says, and I'm just going to read the conclusion, acupuncture exhibits clinically and statistically significant, you fuck, control of irritable bowel syndrome symptoms. Wow. So
when I was a kid,
so Daniel Booth 05. Sorry, dude, I'm just not buying it.
When I was a kid,
and you don't have to listen anymore. It's fine.
Somebody told me when I was a kid that if you had a headache, there was a pressure point on your hand that you pushed in.
Yes, between the thumb.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting that I know that too, and you know that, and you heard it?
I've heard that.
Yep.
I've heard that all my life, and in some cases it actually works.
Yep.
So there's something to it.
There's a lot of different hypotheses of how acupuncture works, and it may work on multiple levels. On one hand, when you're treating pain, it may give the brain a counter stimulation that causes the brain to neglect the original stimulation. So it's a counter stimulation, but it's less severe. And so if you can use a stimulation that's less noxious than, say, your acute low back pain, to fool the brain into shutting those pathways off, well, hell, And then, Dr. Scott, we'll talk about it next 2 podcasts from now. But Dr. Scott has some interesting research on release of endorphins and other things like that when acupuncture needles are placed. I have issues with the whole meridian thing myself. The studies where they have people just jabbing needles where they want to and then doing it according to the meridians, those kind of show it might not matter as much that these diagrams be completely adhered to, because there's no anatomic reason for those things to work. Right. And a lot of the studies will show that. Now, you can show that some of the tenets of acupuncture don't hold water. And you can also show that the acupuncturists that are out there that's claiming to cure cancer are completely full of, beans, if I can use such strong language.
Down.
You better, you got to take it easy.
Wow.
Yeah, that's wow.
My ears are not garbage cans.
But Dr. Scott is a complementary practitioner. In other words, we work together. So he knows if someone has cancer, he's going to send them to us first to get their treatment going, but then he can treat them for their nausea or their pain and stuff like that. He isn't trying to do things that he knows that there's no data behind. So, so anyway, he isn't here. I kind of wanted to do this when he wasn't here. I did go over this with him on the Sirius XM show a couple of weeks ago, so he's heard this whole defense of acupuncture. But and there are people out there that abuse. They take a 2-week course and call themselves, or a 2-day course on a weekend and call themselves an acupuncturist. Now that's a whole different thing. The thing about Dr. Scott is he went to 4-year traditional Chinese medical school, and I respect that. I respect herbalists that have spent their whole lives dedicating themselves to finding things out in the wild and turning them into medicine. That is an ancient tradition that I have to respect it. But we can, like Rodney King said, we can all get along. Can't we all get along? Yes, we can. We can work together. It's when people start, in the fringes, start making crazy claims. It's usually flakes who want to practice medicine without taking the trouble of going to medical school, and they're the ones that kind of ruin it for everybody.
Dangerous.
Yeah. But anyway, and Dr. Scott will be the first to say, don't neglect a treatment that has proven data, proven efficacy, just to come to an alternative medicine provider. Do the stuff that has data, but then go see them to deal with the side effects of the stuff that we do to them. So, all right, okay. Calvin called back. Now it's been 7 minutes. It was 57 minutes.
Today's episode is brought to you by Angie. Angie has made it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get all your jobs and projects done well. Let me tell you, there's the version of it where you try to do something at home, and then there's a version of it where you have someone help you, you watch them do it the right way, and you go, thank God I didn't try to do that myself. I have fully done things around the home that I think look good, and then a bang in the night, and I wake up to a shelf collapsing, a painting falling off the wall. I've seen it all go south. I own a home, and I can tell you, I know how much work it can take. Whether it's everyday maintenance and repairs or making dream projects a reality, it can be hard just to know where to start. But now all you need to do is Angie that and find a skilled local pro who will deliver the quality and expertise you need. Whatever your home project, big or small, indoor or outdoor, you can Angie that and connect with skilled professionals to get the project done well. Right now, one of my wish lists is I want a bike for my condo in Milwaukee, and I would love to rig it up on a pulley in the ceiling because I have one of those lofted ceilings, but I'm so scared to try that on my own. Angie has 20 years of home experience, and they've combined it with new tools to simplify the whole process. Bring them your project online or with the Angie app. Answer a few questions and Angie can handle the rest from start to finish, or help you compare quotes from multiple pros and connect instantly, which means you can take care of any home project in just a few taps. Because when it comes to getting the most out of your home, you can do this when you Angie that. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
Calvin, you're on area code 408. You're on Weird Medicine.
Hey, let's see. John, Dan, Cliff, No Scott, Guy, and Steve. How's it going?
I'll give you one of
Give
these.
yourself a bill.
Very good. I've forgotten our names at this point.
I had to
That's
try to
good.
memorize that. I'm the worst with names. I had to try to memorize that.
You've been on hold
I was
so
on
long.
hold for so long.
It's been on hold since
Yeah,
last
I was
month.
on hold for so. Yeah, I was on hold for so long. I decided to schedule myself for a colonoscopy with no anesthesia.
There you go. Very good.
Linger longer.
Yes, very good. Nobody in this room knows what you're talking about, but I got it. What I did, just so they know, I've done all my colonoscopies with no anesthesia. So
What?
Wow.
Yep. We'll talk about it after he hangs up.
All right,
we'll talk
Thor,
about it. I haven't
take it
talked about it in
easy.
a while.
Stud.
On purpose?
Yep.
Yeah, on purpose. Well, that propofol stuff it messes you up for a couple of days, and this way I don't have to take a day off of work. I can just fart out all the gas, which is thunderous, by the way. Except this last guy used nitrogen, and there was nothing. I was going to shove a flatus flute up my ass and make music.
Right. Well, we talked about that.
And there wasn't any gas. It was very disappointing. But then I just pull up my drawers and go to work.
He was taking calls while he was in, being scoped.
Oh, sorry, I got to take this.
Hold on.
But anyway, all right, Calvin, what do you got for us this week?
Yeah. Okay, well, I wanted to correct that joke that was done by the little computer program earlier because garbage trucks actually have 10 wheels And that's not what I was calling about, but they have doubles in the back and then up front because of the weight load. And I have a Class A license because I'm a courier.
And the species of fly is actually
anyway,
Drosophila. It's not, just those common house flies.
I wanted to say something.
They ruined that joke.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm a courier by day and a comedian by night, so no matter what, it's all about the delivery.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask... boo, boo. I wanted to ask a serious question about, because I've been working for such long hours. I mean, I've been getting like 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night, and I actually feel fine, but I was wondering, in your medical opinion, what is the necessary amount of a human sleep cycle?
Boy,
like, how much sleep do we actually need, in your opinion?
That's a tough one. Because the classic thing is, how much sleep do we need? 8 hours. Everybody will say we need 8 hours. But that may or may not be true. And as you get older, you tend to need less and less, or tend to be able to get less and less. There are, the Sleep Foundation will say that teenagers between 14 and 17 need 8 to 10 hours of sleep. And now my kid...
They think it's 10 to 12.
Right. Well, he'll stay up till 3, and then he could literally sleep till 3 in the afternoon if I didn't get him up. But then he feels like shit.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Well, I used to do that. When I was in college, I'd sleep till 2 in the afternoon all the damn time.
I could never do that.
I've heard that oversleeping is just as bad or even worse than not sleeping enough. Is that?
Well, it makes you feel crummy.
Well, yeah.
False. You cannot get too much sleep. Come on. I'm a napper.
But the National Sleep Foundation released some results of a world-class study that took more than 2 years of research to complete. And they updated their... I'm trying to find this right now. Okay, they updated their findings as far as what you should need for each age group. So how old are you, Calvin?
I'm in my 30s, early 30s.
Okay, adult sleep range not changed, remains 7 to 9 hours. So 7 would do. And sometimes I only get 6 because my wife does not appreciate this radio thing a lot. Well, she's okay with it, but she's not a big fan. Yeah, and if I interrupt our family time to do radio stuff or to come up and play in my synth lab, man, it really isn't a good thing. So I do all my extracurricular activities after she goes to bed, which fortunately is usually pretty early. She likes to go to bed around 9:30, and then I've got a couple hours, but then I find myself staying up until midnight or 1 o'clock, and I got to get up at 6. So, when people ask me how do I get all the stuff done that I do, because I'm putting PowerPoint presentations for work together and doing all this, it's just because I don't sleep, but it's not necessarily good for me. Now, if you... Yeah, and getting too little sleep, I know, can increase your risk of certain disease states and stuff like that. But people who are you sleepy during the day? That's the big question.
There will be a brief moment when I finally sit down to relax where I kind of nod off for a few, but I don't really take a nap. I'll just be kind of having my eyes closed, and it's like when your computer goes to sleep, but it doesn't go to deep sleep. It's just kind of like you have to move the mouse to wake the screen back up type thing.
Yep.
So I'm just kind of sitting there with my eyes closed.
Now, see, I had that where as soon as I would get to work every morning, I would fall asleep for about 10, 15 minutes. And at one time, I pulled in at the dry cleaners because I'd take my dry cleaning in, and I'd listen to the radio. I listened to Jim and Sam, or if it's before 8 o'clock, I was listening to Howard, and I'd fall asleep, and some guy went in there and said, there's a guy out there, I think he's dead. And they're like, oh no, that's just Dr. Steve. He just does that.
Yeah.
He'll be all right.
But sleep deprivation will prevent your immune system from working properly, and so that would increase your risk for chronic illnesses. That may increase inflammation in your body, so that you're more likely to get heart disease and things like that. So it is important to have good sleep hygiene. Sleep in the same bed every night. To only sleep in your bed. Sleep or screw. Don't work in your bed, because if you're working, what are you trying to do? You're trying not to sleep, right? So if you get in bed and sit on your bed and you're doing emails for work, that's actually counterproductive to your sleep because you're training yourself when you're in that bed, you're going to be awake. You want to train yourself that when your head hits that pillow, you're asleep. And the only way to do that is to consistently only sleep or have intercourse or both at the same time. And, anyway,
I don't get into any of that. But I will say that I've noticed that when I go to bed about 10 p.m., which is pretty early for the comedy scene, but if I happen to get to bed about 10 p.m., I can fall asleep real easy. But then if I stay up just maybe an hour or two beyond that, then I have to only sleep past like midnight or 1 in the morning because my body wants to go into like a second wind with their circadian rhythm.
Oh, dude, I get so tired, and I'll go to, well, like I said, I'll stay up till midnight or 1 o'clock. When I'm at Moogfest with my brothers and sisters, who are into electronic music, they were all dropping like flies. And I'm like, no, we're going to the next concert. I'm just totally wide awake. And that change. If you got something to do, you can stay up.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, they should call you the Moog Rogue. Nothing. Oh, I was just kissing you, babe. You get the shout out of something. Yeah.
I don't know how you're getting to bed before 10 and doing comedy, though.
I know. He's in California. You're in California,
that's
right?
Rare. That's like.
He's out west.
Yeah, I'm out in California. So what I'm doing, typically what I do is I'm home by like 11:30 or midnight from that stuff. But I'm saying like on a day that I don't have anything to do, like typically Friday nights, I don't have shows. Like I have shows like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and kind of like that. So on the nights when I'm home, I try to get to bed by 10, which is super interesting, I know.
You ever
Anyways, that's kind of the... Yeah.
You ever run into Joe Rogan at any of these clubs? Are you in any of those clubs?
No, he's in Los Angeles. I'm up near San Francisco, so I'm in the South Bay area.
Oh, that's cool.
And actually, I post all my listing stuff of where I'll be appearing at Calvin Ha Ha Comedy on Facebook. Calvin Ha Ha Comedy.
Get that plug in, my brother.
Yep. That's the Facebook page.
I'm not
Everything's on
aware
there.
of the comedy scene in San Francisco at all.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. Well, we got a comedy scene here.
Well, right, but
ain't much of
we don't.
one.
Well,
it's basically Cliff.
No.
No.
And it's in this room,
Basically,
and it's like right now.
basically, they just have two large clubs up in San Francisco. There's Cobb's and Punchline. Those are like in the very north part of San Francisco, near the edge of the water and all that. Other than that, there's a bunch of open mics, but it's just hippie dippies sitting around in a drum circle next to the train tracks where Bart and VTA goes all.
But it's
so,
San Francisco.
and then there's a couple things out in Oakland, but yeah.
Oh, I bet a show in Oakland would be crazy.
Yeah. Maybe we need to make a road trip.
Well, actually,
I mean, I'm down.
you could.
I'm totally down for it.
I'm in.
I literally have
hell.
nothing
Then-
planned after July.
Cross country drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Can I fly and meet you there?
I actually had a show recently that I hosted, and I dressed up as the Lake Merritt lady from Oakland.
Oh.
If anybody remembers the lady that called the cops because people were barbecuing.
That's
Now
awesome.
that is funny.
Yeah.
Oh man, she's
Yeah, so I
crazy.
dressed up as
Them
her,
fellers
and I
are
was goofing.
barbecuing over there.
They're harassing me.
Yeah.
No, you what?
Oh, well. All right, man. Well, you can call in any time
All right,
and tell
love
us
you guys.
about
Love the show.
comedy in San Francisco. I'm fascinated by that. So,
All right, very good.
all right, buddy.
All right,
Get
yep,
that.
take care.
The reason I asked you about the sleepy
Yeah,
thing is, and I was starting to tell this story because, so I would get to work every day and I would fall asleep, right? And then sometimes during the day I would fall asleep in front of my computer. Turned out I have sleep apnea, and there was no sign of it whatsoever. So if you're continuing to be sleepy and have sleep problems, and there's a difference between being sleepy and being fatigued. You got to be able to make that difference.
Yeah, I'm not.
Or that distinction.
Yeah,
And
I'm not. Yeah.
If you have daytime
I'm good
sleepiness,
that way. Actually,
get a damn sleep study.
no, I just, yeah. I used to work for restaurants, so my schedule was to stay up late at night, so I'd take naps before I went to work, so I'd be 100% charged up internal battery before I went out and worked at night.
Yeah.
But, I don't have that apnea stuff, and it's just...
you don't know that you
and
don't
the
unless you get a
short
sleep study.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you because I had no clue. My wife never told me. that I stopped breathing. I didn't snore that much, but my sleep apnea was bad. And I'm not a big fatso either,
Yeah.
so I had this thing called complex sleep apnea, which when they fixed the...
Of course you did.
Of course. When they fixed
Yeah.
the obstructive sleep apnea, the snoring sleep apnea, then I would stop breathing. So they put the CPAP on, I'd immediately stop breathing. So now I have to be on this thing called BiPAP, which actually is like a non-invasive ventilator that breathes for me at night when I stop breathing. And that has changed my life. I'm telling you, the nights when I sleep like 8 hours, every once in a while I'll get 8 hours and I'll only have 3 events an hour. It feels like I'm on speed. I've never done a drug that made me feel better than that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
So think about it.
There was a comedian out it was during the 1980s, kind of when Robin Williams was starting to come into, and his first name was George. I can't remember his last name, but he had this joke. He would say, "Why is it always the people who snore are the first ones to fall asleep?"
Right. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
That was probably was that guy George Miller? Is that the guy's name? And he'd say,
no, it was.
He'd say, I can't
remember his last name.
Okay. Well, I remember.
Yeah.
He would hang his arm out the window when he was driving, and some woman said, "Young man, that's a good way to lose an arm." And he's like, "Why, thank you. Can you tell me some of the other ways?" But I just remember that making me laugh when I was a kid. But I know he was a California comedian. But anyway, it's. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Fuck it. All right.
I'm sure it would have been good.
So
we're
we
drinking.
need to go.
Be on hold for an hour and then remember.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, love you guys. Take care. All right,
Take care.
Have a great
Call us
day,
anytime.
afternoon.
I'm actually wanting to do a trip
He's
out
going
to
to be
LA
on
this
hold
summer.
for 2 hours next time.
So I actually am wanting to go out to California this summer sometime.
Yeah, and you need to be doing some open mics in all these places.
I'd love to, or even up in New York. And I've worked out my school schedule to where I've got one class that's in person, so I can actually travel.
Yeah,
that's what I intend to do because I want to get into it more.
Well, you need to, and Daniel doesn't know your history, but Cliff was one of the contestants. Well, there's his picture on that poster up there.
I'm up there looking official.
In the funniest person in the Tri-Cities competition. But then we put together this new comedian showcase where we got some of the finalists together to go out and just do a real mini tour just in the Tri-Cities.
Right.
But it was really fun. And Cliff is one of those that, I talked to my friend Bobby Kelly, who is a, incredible comedian. I mean, he's made his living, a very good living at doing nothing but comedy and acting for the last, 25 years. Mm-hmm. And I just said, I got this guy. How can we help him? And he's like, dude, you can't. He's got to just do sets. There's no shortcut. I can introduce him to some people, and that's cool, and that'll help a little bit, but you just got to do 1 million sets.
Yep. That's what I want to do.
10,000 hours, you become good at whatever.
And actually, right now, I heard something about
Mike.
There's like flight specials right now to California and back for like $200 or something. Like 200, yeah.
If you go do sets, hell, we got some money in the account, dude. I'll give you $200 for an airplane ticket.
That's awesome. I would appreciate. I want to be able to do. I want to be able to do so. Like, it's been a while since I've been able to consistently hit mics and stuff. Right. And we're living in this area of East, of Tennessee, and there's just not a whole lot. Yeah. So,
when they closed down one of the places,
and
that pissed me off.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much that they closed it down for the comedy. I used to love to go there, and anyway, it's one of our local venues. The guy just decided he had enough money and he shut it down. And didn't even sell it to anybody. He just said, "I'm leaving," and locked the door.
Goodbye.
There is a club in. I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. There's a club there called the Dead Crow. I'll go give those guys a. Here we go. Sorry. It's called the Dead Crow, and Rich Voss was there actually a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
And on Thursday nights they have open mic night, and I'm dying to do it. I'm not a stand-up comedian. I just want to do it like one time to see what it's like.
Yeah.
And I want to bomb or I want to do really good, one or the other.
You'll do both of those.
Yeah.
You will do both.
And Voss was out there on Thursday. He was actually going to be there Friday and Saturday, but he was there Thursday and he did like 10 minutes, and some friends of mine were there. He killed.
Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah.
Voss always kills. People give him shit, but he truly is a legend. There's nobody better than him on, as far as stand-up, and particularly his crowd work.
I saw him there twice,
incredible.
actually, yeah.
We may have a new venue opening up here, and we're going to start. I'd like to start doing our regular, comedy events with the sort of national comedians.
Yeah.
And Rich and Bonnie are at the top of my list of getting them down here.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. That'd be good, dude. If you're going to do that, we have to have tape.
I know.
And video, because we will absolutely just shit on you so bad.
It'll be a great time.
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? They you get a minute. Apparently, you go up there and you get like 1 minute, and if you do well, I think you get 3 minutes.
Okay,
after that.
yeah, and if you don't, they just kick you off.
Yeah, give you all.
I'm trying to think of what I could do in a minute to like.
It's hard, the competition that we did with that 3 minutes was tough, and
it was.
Everyone said when Cliff got done, we wished that we could have heard more. Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that, but it was stressful. Like,
sure it was,
because you have to. Because that's the thing about comedy. Because like you're becoming a character on stage, and sometimes those characters require like development to get the audience to trust you, to want to hear what you have to say, and it's hard to do that in 3 minutes.
Right? No, if you're a long form storyteller, you're not going to do well in a competition like that.
Mm-mm.
So, but anyway, all right. Area code 304. You're on Weird Medicine. Hello. You know what?
Hello.
Oh, hey, man.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you? You got to talk in. Your volume is way down.
I know it sucks. I live in the country.
Oh, there you go. That's a little better. What can we do for you?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay, fair enough.
Like
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for calling.
Seriously, I'd really like to thank you and all of your listeners for helping me at West Virginia Ramp Salt.
Oh, really cool. This is our buddy
Ramp
from
Salts.
WVRampsalt.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So you've gotten a little bit of bump since we plugged your stuff a couple shows back.
Yep, I got about 4 orders.
Oh,
And I
well,
appreciate
4. Well, I guess 4 orders better than none,
That's
but
right.
we could probably do a little better than that. That's cool, though.
So I listened to your show, and I loved the pork run. I could do a Ramp Salt pork run.
I bet you could.
Really?
Now, that would be something.
Don't play with me.
Tease.
Yeah,
I wanted to comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I wanted to comment about the redneck comment.
Which one?
Oh, earlier.
It depends.
Pork rinds.
There's like
Pork
hundreds
rinds.
of them.
Well, look, there's rednecks and there's shit rednecks, and you're the first one. You're not the second one. No, and
I appreciate it.
and there's country people. Look, I speak hick. I grew up speaking what we called hick, right? And when I grew up, we talked like this, and you go over there and get up there, and and that was how I talked. Mm-hmm. And I lost my accent in film school. I lost my accent in film school because we did a class called Lose Your Accent. It really wasn't called that, but that was basically what it was. And so now I talk like this, but but we called that hick. As Appalachian, I grew up where I grew up was mountains, 4 miles of dirt road to get to my house. Okay, so hick, I don't see that as a pejorative term at all. That's what we called ourselves. Redneck, even then, we would call other people we didn't like redneck.
Pejorative means.
What's that? Say it again.
Believe it or not, I actually understand what pejorative means.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, wow.
See, yeah,
well, you ain't no redneck.
No, you ain't no redneck, dude. Come on, man. That has more than 2 syllables in it.
I can be one if you want me to be. I got chickens in my yard, and I mow my grass by hand.
I don't buy
I
it.
got it.
when I was a kid, I'm from Indiana originally, and they say "whoosh."
Whoosh.
Yeah,
you gotta wash your clothes.
It took me so long to stop saying that.
Well, up here they say
Why
a
would
weird
you
one.
stop?
Pop or soda pop.
I made a lot of fun of.
Sody dope. Now, where I came from, it was sody dope. And
I've never heard any of these
So
pronunciations.
what's a sody dope?
sody dope is, soda. It's a Coke.
Pop.
Yeah.
I call it pop.
Well,
And I get in all kind of
Where are you from?
stuff for that.
the reason they called them dopes was because, Coca-Cola had cocaine in it. That was
Right.
my theory,
know
or
what
my
you-
hypothesis. But they still call them
There
sody
is no
dopes.
hypothesis. That's absolutely been proven.
Yeah. Well, they did have it, but I didn't know if that's why they called them dopes.
Sody dope.
And in the mountains of North Carolina, Coca-Cola, they'll say, "I'm going to get me a sody dope."
Never heard that.
What was the other
So that
thing?
the only reason West Virginia
Yep.
is where it's at, and why it's called West Virginia, and why the war was won
Okay.
right here.
Yeah. Why?
Take the West Virginia map, and you spread it out.
Yeah.
It's bigger than the state of Texas. We were smart enough to hide behind trees and shoot the idiots that were standing there with their flag.
Yeah, and you just shoot at them.
Yeah.
No, we shot and killed them.
Yeah. Well, there you go. What
I'm
else?
kind of being an asshole right now.
No,
because I've been on hold for
we
a
don't,
while.
dude.
And that's cool.
We don't know that.
We don't know anything about history.
no
We're a
idea.
medical show. That's all it is.
We're happy
Dude,
people.
come on.
We don't care.
All right. I need to
I
ask you a
just make
medical
music.
question for real.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Shoot. You guys get your music ready. Yeah. Go ahead, man.
Oh, and by the way, I wanted to comment on your music in the intermission.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Right.
I could have made a montage out of that, like Dr. Steve.
Yeah.
It was great.
It would have
you.
been
Oh,
ridiculous.
Yeah,
thanks.
it's Super Android 23.
All right, so-
Look for them on iTunes.
Yeah, we
If that's a compliment or not.
yeah, really appreciate it.
All right, so
Take
here's
it
a
on,
really interesting question.
Okay. We'll be the judge
Not
of
one
that.
I don't really want to ask this question because obviously I'm on the phone with national radio, but
Yeah.
I think he wants to.
about 15 years ago, I found a little bump on my scrotum.
Okay.
So I went to the doctor, and he said, I'm not sure, but I think it's just a scrotal cyst.
Yes.
And I said, I don't care what it is. I want it out of here.
Sure.
So I went and had a little surgery, took it off. Literally, I was scared to death for the next 4 days, thinking that when the stitches fell out, my balls were going to fall off.
Yep. And
Okay.
Like, literally, I thought my balls would fall out of the little scrotal sac.
Yep.
I'm locked in right now. I'm so excited to hear this story.
Me too. You've got us all
Keep
very
talking.
interested.
Yeah, we're all very quiet. We're listening.
Go on.
What I've actually learned is that now I have about 20 of them.
Oh shit!
20 scrotums?
Oh no, he's got 20 cysts. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, they
They're little, and they itch like a motherfucker.
are they white?
Well, I don't
He's
know. I
looking.
haven't
Hold
looked
on.
inside it.
Do they have a whitish color to them? Because the reason I'm asking is there's a thing called scrotal calcinosis. Everyone should go Google that right now and see scrotal calcinosis. And these are little deposits of calcium that look like little cysts on the scrotum, but that's really what they are. And you can get an extreme version of that. The whole scrotum is taken over by these lumps. And if you have a new sexual partner, you just have some explaining to do. Oh no, it's okay. It's just scrotal
Scrotal
calcinosis.
calcinosis, bro.
It's no big deal.
Even with my current partner, I have to explain these little bumps aren't poisonous.
Right. Yeah, they're not an STD. But you might want to get those checked, just make sure. But it's most likely those are completely benign. And benign cysts, or they could be...
Ew.
You looking at scrotal calcinosis, lady diagnosis?
See, I heard that girl saying I saw his balls and I don't want any part of that.
Huh.
Next show, we'll tell the story of the guy that was masturbating with his penis, and he was rubbing it on a conveyor belt, and he was too close to the little circuit. Well, I'll just tell the story now. he was working in his workplace. He had this conveyor belt, right? And it went up and did something. I don't know what it was, but it made a nice throbbing sort of vibration. So he takes his penis out, his erect member, and is holding it against this machine, right? And then you know how the conveyor belts have a wheel?
Yeah.
Well, he was a little close to the wheel, and the wheel caught his scrotum. And it ripped his scrotum open, and his left testicle went shooting out the window.
That's disgusting.
This is an absolutely true story. And he was so embarrassed that he stapled his scrotum shut with an industrial stapler, right?
He's a dumbass.
And
Guy's a trooper.
yeah, the reason
Trooper's a word.
the reason this came to light was he went to the emergency room, and they were like, "Whoa, dude, what happened?" Because it got infected, and he had the scrotum that was the size of a basketball that was full of nothing but pus, and they had to remove the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to take the whole sack off at that point.
Anyway,
Yeah.
well, you hear the music. Check out wvrampsalt.com for all your ramp salt needs. And dude, thanks for calling. I'm glad your scrotum's okay, but with those lumps, just get them checked by a urologist, and then call us back and let us know what they say, okay?
I can tell you this one little story if it's okay.
Okay, well,
Tomorrow?
call us back because the show is ending.
They told me not to do it because the other nurses in the place that I actually work
He's gonna
would
tell
look
the
at my
story.
penis size and tell everybody else.
Yeah? Wait, say it again.
They told me not to have any
We heard
surgery
you.
because they thought my penis would be recognized by nurses.
That's it. All right, dude. Thank you for your ramp salt. Thanks for your support. We're big fans of yours. We'll have your product anyway. Take care, buddy. All right.
Okay.
Enjoy. Say hello to West Virginia for us. He's a good guy, but damn. Was this going to crescendo and do something? There you go.
Here goes.
Thanks always go to Cliff Andrews, a.k.a. 49 Cent. Check him out at, what is it? Rants in My Pants.
Yeah.
Rants in My Pants. He's also got a YouTube channel. Or is that your YouTube channel?
That's the new show I'm doing on YouTube.
Okay, cool. Lady Diagnosis. She's delightful. Check her out at Lady Diagnosis on Twitter. Super Android 23, a.k.a. the Mogefest Posse. Hopefully the rest of our posse is listening live. That's John. Daniel Renteria, which is...
Rents an apartment.
Yeah, he rents an apartment, and his SoundCloud is...
It's official Aladdin or Aladdin. It's Aledin. You can find me on SoundCloud if you just look up that name.
I'll put it on our website. There we go. 'Cause nobody's going to find that.
Thank you.
You're violating the Opie Hughes rule of website design is having some damn thing nobody can spell.
Yeah, everyone keeps telling me the same thing, honestly. And now I'm like,
I can show you a way to get around that. You can do a subdomain on another website. You can make it real simple and just have it point to that. I'll show you how to do it.
okay, yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
All right, cool.
So we don't have to hear about this anymore?
About what?
His name spelled, or his website, whatever, called something wrong.
Yeah,
We don't have to hear about that?
we have to give him shit about something.
Oh,
It's true.
okay.
My first time on here, so I have to, right? It's necessary.
I mean, us old
We're
people,
hazing him.
we have to destroy the young,
Break their spirit.
especially ones that are as good looking as this guy is.
Yeah,
Jesus.
he's good looking. You guys can't see, but yeah, you got to give him hell.
Thank you.
Give him shit.
We can't forget Rob Sprance, Bob Kelly, Greg Hughes, Anthony Cumia, Jim Norton, Travis Teff. See, I have much more energy when this music's going. Eric Nagel and Roland Campos, Sam Roberts, Pat Duffy, Dennis Falcone, Ron Bennington, and Fez Watley, whose early support of this show has never gone unappreciated. Listen to our SiriusXM show on the Faction Talk channel, SiriusXM channel 103, Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern, on demand, and other times at Don Wickland's pleasure. Many thanks to our listeners whose voicemail and topic ideas make this job very easy. Go to our website at drsteve.com for schedules and podcasts and other crap. Until next time, check your stupid nuts for lumps. Quit smoking, get off your asses, and get some exercise. We'll see you in 1 week for the next edition of Weird Medicine.
Woohoo!
Yay.
That's fun.